All right, this next video we're going to talk about tagging our materials. In the previous video we talked about our material samples living in the annotation phase. I'm looking at a project now that's far along, and you can see we've got lots of interior finishes grouped together on our finish legend. And if you need a reminder where that is, those are in the annotation phase, and then you duplicate them as dependent. So this is the master, and for every sheet you need, it's been duplicated as dependent and dragged onto a sheet. Let's look at using the tag. So if you remember, we have two types of material tags. We have a material tag that tags the type mark, and you have one that tags the description. So for example, right now these are all using the mark tag. There's the description tag, so that's just what kind of finish that is. So if we were to swap these, you would see that those are just generic descriptions of that finish. We also have a tag that is the tag type and description if you want to see those together on your graphical legends. So we'll put those back to mark, and let's see how we use these tags. So here's a sheet that we may need to add some tags to. So if we look at the floor plan first, on a room like this where there's a lot going on, we really try and put them a sheet together showing the floor plan, the reflected ceiling plan, a 3D view to orient you, any schedules that are applicable, perspective view, and the interior elevation. So you don't have to flip from a plan back to an interior elevation series and whatever. So let's take a look. So we've got a floor plan down here, and we've got some floor finishes here. So I'll activate this view, and I'm going to type in, I have my hotkey set to MG for material tag. You can set it to whatever you want. You'll see that brings up the tag. If you don't have hotkeys, it would be under Annotation, Material Tag. And you can see I've got the mark selected. If you wanted just the description, you can see as I move over any of the materials, it's going to tell you what these things are. Again, it's reading from that material. So that's why it's very important that we use real-world materials on all our projects. You don't use filled regions, and we always use real materials on real objects. So anyway, you would tag this with your mark. If you need a leader, by default it's going to have a leader. And so you can click, 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 and click. And you try, always try and get a nice 45-degree arrow and then line your tags up. Now for floor finishes, I was just using that as a placing example. You can see I have already tagged this view, and I didn't need a leader. So if you don't need a leader, you can uncheck the leader. Notice then the tag doesn't know what it is until you move it over top of the item that you want it to report. Okay, so that's tagging in a floor plan. Let's take a look at a ceiling plan. There's no accent finishes on this plan, so I probably don't actually need to tag anything, but if you did, let's say this had a paint finish, I would use my MG. Got to activate the view. And you can see that's paint finish 1, so I could tag that. If it was an accent paint, it would show up what it is. It's ACT1. I don't need to tag that. The ceiling type's gonna call that out unless it was a specialty finish again. If for whatever reason you needed a description to show up, you can see these. We use the description more for details, so we'll take a look at that in a minute. But here you can see the description it's revealing of these different materials. All right, you can also tag in 3D views, which is helpful if the elements you're looking at, you might not elevate every side of something. So for example, in this clinical skills lab, you can see we have these wood wrapped columns, curtain pockets, and we have this element here. that we might have a corridor elevation of, but we might not have a side elevation of this. So this would be a great opportunity to tag this in 3D. You can only tag elements and dimension elements in 3D if the view is locked. So make sure the view is locked, and then you can use your MG, and you can see there's the wood veneer. Now again, I would stick to the type mark tag because people are going to be looking for that, but you can see that I can pull off the different finishes that are represented on this column wrap element. I might need to want to tag all of the wood together here, and I like to stack tags. You can see that you can overlap two tags. They should snap together. It's kind of hokey sometimes, but there's no way to add multiple leaders, but you can certainly tag the same finish and just stack them. You see that? We want to fix that, of course, but get the idea. All right, let's go over to interior elevations. Same process. You can see here I've already tagged this, but you've got your metal covering one. There's a paint finish. The base is called out, tagged. Solid surface finish is called out on that. And let's see, I don't think there's any wall finishes, no special wall finishes. So there should be a note somewhere that's all walls are paint PT1 unless otherwise noted, or P1 rather. So there's no need to put a whole bunch of P1 tags all over your plan. Only call out accent materials. So that's interior elevations tagging. Let's talk about material tags when it comes to details. Okay, so I've opened up a detail sheet and want to show you that the material tag, I'm going to pick MG, or remember it's up here, tag material. I can put my cursor over any of the items. So in this case, when you're using details, we don't want to use the abbreviation. We want to tell the description of what the material is. So you can see as I'm putting my cursor over these different materials, Revit knows what they are, so I can annotate these things. There's the suspension system, and aluminum glazing systems over here. Now that material description could have been something like clear anodized aluminum instead of aluminum glazing system. You can see that there's the composite material, etc. So you can use the material tag for your details. And then let's also go to elevation view. Different project managers do it slightly different, and that's okay, depending on your project. In this one, we use the material type mark tag. You can see that these are all type marks, and we have on the exterior elevation the schedule right on that schedule. So if you are going to do this system where you use the material tag mark based on your elevations instead of just calling things brick 1, brick 2, or whatever, then make sure you have a schedule on your exterior elevation sheet to let people know easily reference what they're seeing. And it's all just dependent on the type of materials, right? Because these are different kinds of masonry, and then there's different kinds of glass, and so the description could get really long. And so it really is just how to keep your drawings clean. But you can see here, this is a good example. So sometimes, and I'm not sure what causes this, occasionally a material will lose its mark. Typically, if you just hit it and nudge, hit the arrow key, just a quick arrow key, one direction and then the other, and it'll re-find its host. That happens for various reasons, but if you see a question mark, don't freak out. Just highlight the tag and give it a little nudge. So anyway, tool's the same, MG, put your cursor over whatever it is you are trying to tag, and you can see why I just did GL2 instead of that honking thing. I would just, I don't want that note all over my interior elevations. I would just want that, and then my schedule that tells you all the glass. So that's it for material tags. Use them on your elevations, your details, your building sections, anywhere that you're going to call out a material. Please do not use text, and please create real-world materials. If you don't know how to create them, please reach out to BIM support. We can make custom patterns for you. We can help you with the render appearance and make these projects look awesome. Thank you.